Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about a nasty little fast one that Donald Trump tried to pull in the January 6th trial before Judge Tanya Chutkan and Special Counsel Jack Smith calling him out on it. All right. This is about the question whether the trial can be televised. So a lot of media companies have come in and filed brief to Judge Chutkan. You should televise this trial, first ever criminal trial of a president, intense public interest. And indeed, all that's true. Intense public interest. This is a perennial debate, of course, whether to televise court proceedings in the federal system, which generally doesn't allow it. But obviously, it seems a special case. You could make arguments either way. It's sort of interesting. The worry about televising it is a certain defendant might totally play to the cameras rather than the jury and court and undermine the adversarial process and the search for the truth and justice, etc. As, for example, Trump did when he testified at the fraud trial. There wasn't a jury there, but imagine his taking the stand and all the things he could do to play to the camera. But that's beside the point. The point here is his squirrely maneuver. So media companies all say, televise this trial. They make a motion to Judge Chutkan, and Chutkan, a very normal procedure for especially a small little thing like, well, not little, but a small off the beaten path of the actual case that this is. She turns to the parties and says, give me your positions on this motion by the media companies. And as often happens in certain kinds of, again, not big arguments that the parties are making, she will task one of them with filing a paper but getting the position of the other one. It could be either one that has this responsibility. In this case, it was the special counsel. So the special counsel dutifully reaches out to Team Trump. What's your position on this, on televising the trial? Team Trump says, we take no position, probably knowing that it's a rule and there's nothing really to be done here. Whether they had this, little caper in mind at the time, or conceived of it later is unclear. But anyway, the special counsel files a motion, says, our advice to you is you just can't do it. There's a rule that's against it. The rule is set by the Judicial Council, which is a whole administrative entity of the U.S. courts. Not even the Supreme Court can vary it. There's a whole process for how you would have to amend that rule. So the perennial debate about should we change things really is, should we move the, Judicial Council, or should Congress try to pass a law or whatever? But as of now, it's a rule that just can't be willy-nilly varied in an individual case. And that's a straightforward constraint that Judge Chutkan has. And that's just what the special counsel said. So you can't be done. All right. End of story. No, not end of story, because Donald Trump, seeing that, registering that the special counsel had come in, and at least the top headline reported was, tells the court not to televise it, says, aha. And he gratuitously, and not part of any schedule, comes in and files a brief saying, I'm for televising the trial. And, to make it seem as if Donald Trump, I'm for sunshine and transparency, and the American people should see this debacle, whereas the special counsel is trying to keep it under wraps like the deep state crusade it is, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't laugh, because it really was, flat out deception. And, he was just trying to cast a false impression. All right. These kinds of things and this kind of crap from a defendant poses a kind of judgment call, both for the other side, the government, and for a judge. So Jack Smith could have decided to let it go. Chutkan, probably knows the story, won't be fooled, etc. But Trump is obviously playing to the public. So the latest entry in the docket is the special counsel comes in and files a very short little paper saying, pretty please, can we file another brief? Doesn't file it, but says we'd like to file a 4-page brief. We're ready to go if you give us leave. A little aside here, by the way, something similar happened with Cannon down in Mar-a-Lago not long ago because of a misleading impression caused by Trump. They said we'd like to file another brief. Cannon not only didn't let them, but took them to task for even asking. It's just a kind of ridiculous for a judge to do. For even asking, she takes them to task. Anyway, back to our story for the January 6th trial. So they point out that Trump, it might look to a judge and or to the public that they misrepresented their opponent's position. They said he takes no position, and he takes the position that he wants TV. That would be a very serious transgression on their part. So they want to remove any possible inference, and they want to, call him out for the BS move he's making, only cloaking himself in the transparency, posture once it's clear it can't happen. So, total kind of BS move to the public. So Smith could have let it go, but decided, no, I'm going to call it out. And it is a pristine little example of Trump playing it, I was going to say fast and loose, but, that's that understatement. Trump really trying to pull a fast one. Chutkan will now have a similar judgment call to make. We see this in all the Trump cases. Engoron, especially in the fraud case now. Do you call Trump out? Do you, remonstrate him when he lies or wheedles or pulls a fast one? And, or do you try to play it cool and not permit any basis for making it seem as if you're biased? Chutkan, to me, has been a very sort of level-headed, not easily ruffled, not at all ruffled judge. So look to her. She's going to decide based on what what the special counsel said. I have to deny this motion. It may be very meritorious, but I personally don't have the power to order this case to be televised. She might, by the way, have the power to order to be transmitted as an audio like the Supreme Court does, and that could be a pretty interesting sort of second choice. Now, that there'll be the sort of final round of this little skirmish and little deception by Trump will be, will she include a paragraph slapping him around saying, he changed his position apparently, and he only said this after the DOJ came in, or will she just ignore it? Could go either way. These are, for both Chutkan and Smith, it's a long trial, a long process. They decide when to, kind of chastise him and when to ignore it. That's just part of the deal, the singular, unprecedented deal of not having not just a former president, but a completely dishonest one as your defendant. So Trump tries to pull a fast one. Smith says not so fast. And now Chutkan will probably permit the DOJ to file its short brief, so the public and the cable TV companies and the media will get the actual story, and then Chutkan likely will rule against them and may or may not kind of give Trump a little rap on his knuckles. So small story, but a kind of pristine illustration of the kind of litigant and defendant that the 45th president of the United States is in this, what I've said again and again is the most important of all the trials against him. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.